I'm David Geller for Irish Muscle, and we are today in Northern Ireland, Londonderry, in Extreme Fitness, and I'm talking with Andrew McBride and Lesley on Armstrong. Hello guys, how are you?
The very best. I'm just glad to see the end of that workout. Quite tired, it's quite warm in here.
It's pretty warm today.
Yeah, everything's going good, yeah.
We are after 3 weeks after the World Championship, guys. Lesley, you was actually won the Mrs. World, right?
Yep.
And how are you feeling after the competition? It's actually 3 weeks out. You're still looking fabulous. You know, you're still in good shape, and everyone from you guys will see it on the video. So how are you?
Not too bad. Still, I'm sort of winding down, I think, to be honest. So it takes me a while to kind of get out of the regimented routine of it all. So still had Sunday off after the show, and then just back in the gym again on the Monday, because it's just habit. But feeling good, yeah. It's a wee bit better to have a wee bit more grub in you and feel a bit more sane again. But everything's good.
And what do you think about that show? How did you like it? Did you enjoy it on the backstage, on the stage?
Yeah, the whole show I thought it was really well run. Down in the Worlds, down in Dublin, stuff was really well put together. Everybody was really quite friendly, to be honest, because sometimes at some of the shows it's hard to know, and there can be a lot of cattiness, but at the Worlds, to be honest, everybody was great, and it was a good experience, so enjoyed it.
Absolutely, it was. Do you have any plan for the next show? Probably you had a little bit of time now to consider another show. Could you tell us something more about that?
I haven't quite made up my mind. The Universe is this October, so that's definitely an option for me with NABA at the minute, so I'm sort of trying to stay not too far off it, and then I'll see. So it could possibly be.
How long are you actually training for?
Like on...
Yeah, just in the gym. No, how long are you training since? When did you start it?
Well, the bodybuilding was about 3 years ago, about just over 3 years, 3.5 years ago. Sort of started doing the shows, and then I met Andy shortly after that, and then we sort of started training a bit together because we were both in it, and there's not very many people around from Korean direction that does any building. That's really just me.
And do you have any sport background? You know, did you do anything before?
Just trained, just went to the gym maybe 3 or 4 times a week, did athletics and school and stuff, but that's it. I don't play hockey or any of that stuff. Don't like outside.
I have to say, after 3 years, get the overall, World Championship for you is a great achievement.
Yeah.
Definitely natural gifted, and we'll wish you best of luck with that. Andy, what do you think about the World Championship?
The plan this year was actually to place in the final 6 at the Mr. Britain competition, but after winning the NABA Northern Ireland show for the second time, Dave gave me an invite, Dave Warner, to the World Championships, and I was kind of scared of going, because I knew myself, I've gone a little higher and I'm coming closer to a better stage to be on, but I'm not just quite there. I'd done 3 shows in the space of 8 weeks, and felt by the last one I found it hard to re-peak. I started to get very flat, started to, in my mind, lose muscle, and I was going in very drawn, and by dropping more carbs to try and get more condition, I found I was getting more condition but losing size, and I was always known for being that little bit bigger than the rest of the guys, but now I've ballooned up again. I'm 122 kilo, and I'm feeling pretty fair condition, so I'll not make the same mistake again. But the next time I do compete,
absolutely,
top 6,
it's really difficult to keep the big physique, by so many shows, So anyway, fair play to you. You look great right now. You're really tight. You're much bigger enough, still great condition. And could you tell us something more about your background? Because you was training like a strongman before, isn't it?
Yes, I've been training since I was 14 with weights, and I'm now 35, so it's 21 years. And I first started off competing way back when I was 17 as a schoolboy, and as a bodybuilder once. Didn't really like it very much, and just ploughed on with training. And it was way back in 96, 97, I started training as a strongman in Korean. The event itself was starting to come in, and bodybuilding was getting a little dead in the water. So I started hitting strongman, and in 2001 placed 4th and also strongest man. I came 4th in Ireland strongest man and qualified for the Mr. Britain competition. Due to an injury I couldn't go, but I was still carrying at that stage only around 16.5 stone. I still placing fairly well compared to the guys that were up in the mid-20 stones, so I was holding my own. So strongman, the guy I trained with injured himself, so I started powerlifting. And the first year of powerlifting, I broke 4 Irish records in Hercules Gym in Dublin, and in the same year won the Irish Bench Press Championships. And went back to strongman the following year, because there was a new category, the 105 kilogram class, which suited me fine because it was my body weight, and I'd done the Britain's Championships. which was won by Darren Sadler, who is now, of course, the world's strongest man. I came third in it. Went back to powerlifting, and I had several injuries, tore my quads, pulled hamstrings, had a bad hip, and I was with Stephen Graham, a UK BFF competitor here and the rep for this country. Took me to Waterford to the Spring Classic, and there I saw Dennis Wolf guest posing, and it was then I was hooked. So I decided the following year I'm going to compete. So I started competing in 2009. I won the NABA Novice, I won the WABA Northern Ireland show in the same weekend. The following year I took the overall Northern Ireland title. I came 5th in the Mr Britain, qualified for the Universe, tore my quad, being silly again, powerlifting, lifts 5 weeks out, so I wasn't placed too good. Took the year off, came back in, won the Northern Ireland show again. Tam was off for the Mr Britain, and it was my best condition ever. Ran 2 flat for the Worlds, was just outside the top 6. But I'm learning my lesson. It's a learning curve, and I've learned through it all not to be afraid of carbohydrates. That's the big secret. Yeah.
So you're getting better, every year, I think, And what is your plan for the next show?
Well, I think next year I'm keeping myself in better condition this time. At present, I'm sponsored here by Derek and Joan, who are a great asset to me. They look after me in every single way, and I couldn't be thankful enough to Extreme Fitness. On nutrition, they basically offered me some sponsorship, and I'm representing them next weekend in Cookstown at Darren Allen's Performance Nutrition Plus shop. So I'm trying to keep condition this time and put on maybe a lot less weight and not get carried away with the scales. And possibly next year, having spoke with Tony Mount, Class 3 Mr Universe, we were thinking of doing the Mr England show together and again going on to the Mr Universe. But as I can tell everyone, once the competition stops, the off-season is not time to get lazy. That's time to really dig in hard. Absolutely. So the training for the shows for next year begins the day after the World Championships. So it's dig in and get started and get stuck in now.
Absolutely. Is any particular, muscle power would you like to improve for the next show? You said condition, for sure, would be very helpful, but any particular muscle power would you still want to improve?
Yeah, last year I wanted to improve my back a lot. People were saying there wasn't enough bumps and thickness to it, so I'm back to deadlifts, a lot of heavy rows, and it seemed to thicken it up and widen it slightly. I'd like to bring up more delt and arm thickness and again bring up my hamstrings. Got my quads and calves, chest isn't terribly bad, but as everything I look at my physique and don't look at it and just say I want to be on a certain weighting stage or whatever. I want to improve the body parts that are lacking. So basically my delts, maybe a bit of upper chest thickness, and my hamstrings need work, so I've got to really nail them this year.
I think you have one of the best body part for me is actually biceps and calves. It's any particular exercise would you actually recommend the other guys? What is your favorite exercise for that muscle part? Well,
one thing I've done, I watched Zach Kahn, and he was actually here last year for a seminar, and I watched a few of his training DVDs, and he does a variation of the hammer curl. Instead of bringing the dumbbell basically straight up, he brings it across the body. And the only other person I ever saw doing that exercise was a guy called Jukka Ahala from Finland, who was world's strongest man. And he actually utilised it with 60 and 65k dumbbells to help him lift stones. So I started doing that, and the biceps seemed to really work my brachialis and my forearm tie-in, and my arms really started to grow.
So in the cross, you said?
Yes. For likes of things that bring up my back and things, as I said, I've done heavy deadlifts, and my calves was really, I don't do high reps for calves. I train my calves maybe for about an hour and a half, once a week, and then I train them after quads as well for about another half hour, and I do very, very heavy weights for 10 reps. Usually 10 sets of 10 of seated calf raise, 10 sets of 10 of standing, and 10 sets of 10 in toe press in the leg press machine.
Oh, that's a lot. So altogether 20 sets, isn't it?
30.
30 sets? Wow. I have to try it myself. That's definitely
I've found sometimes if a body part's not growing, I try to hit it twice a week with really heavy and lots of volume, and then slightly lighter with higher reps with another body part. I've also found that volume sometimes works with a weak body part and variation of exercise. Body parts that grow pretty easy, stick to the big basic exercises. The other ones need a bit more work. I definitely do.
Thanks very much, and that was a great tips for all of our fans, and that was a pleasure to talk with you, both of you guys. Thank you very much for your time, for your patience, and for the great workout too, and hope to see you soon. Once again, good luck.
Thank you.
That was David Geller for IRISH Muscle.